All right, so this video is the last one for arthropods, and we'll be looking at the different orders of insects. The first order is part of a subclass called Apteraptera. That Ptery root has to do with wings, and so they are ap. They have an A in front, means no wings. And so there's one order that is in this group, and interestingly enough, this particular order, Thysanura, is actually kind of a dilapidated word. It has since been split into two different groups that I don't have the words for, but this is still something that is printed in modern textbooks, even though it hasn't really been scientifically accepted for some time now, maybe since the late 90s or early 90s. And even my textbook was printed in 2017 and still uses this. So there you go. Order Thysanura, these are silverfish. And so they have long antenna. They have three terminal appendages. You can see there very clearly on the left side there, the three terminal appendages. They typically live near human habitations. Um, they're kind of gross. That's the way I think about them. But these are wingless insects. Um, the whole order is wingless. There's other wingless insects, but this whole group is of that, and they have direct development, so no metamorphosis with them. And so this subclass, before you write in Hemiptera, there's a subclass called Pterygoda, which is all winged insects. And the first order to talk about in Pterygoda is Ephemeroptera. These are mayflies. Ephemeroptera is like the word ephemeral, means like here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing, like a vapor. And so these guys are known that they only live one day. Well, it's not exactly true. They live a whole year in their aquatic environment, and then they become an adult and then basically mate and then die in that one day. Um, Adults don't eat. And so their whole purpose to become an adult is to mate, and they all typically come out within a day of each other, and they all mate, and then they all die, and their aquatic forms, their nymphs, go back to the ocean, not the ocean, the lake or the stream. All right, Odonata, these are dragonflies and damselflies. They are noted for their large wings. The difference between a dragonfly and a damselfly is really the way the wings are situated. Damselflies, the wings will go up and away from the body. The dragonflies, typically wings go right out to the side. Think of like an airplane wing. Um, they have aquatic nymphs, just like the mayflies do, that live a long time underwater and are predatory. And they have these kind of prehensile mouth parts. You can see there on the right. It's almost like a mouth part that can reach out and grab things, which is pretty cool. Orthoptera. These are dragonflies. No, I just had dragonflies. These are grasshoppers and locusts and that sort of thing. They have chewing mouth parts and usually able to hop pretty far distances. They can also fly, so that's not but they can move just by hopping, and they can be voracious eaters. Locusts are historically known to destroy civilizations because of their ability to eat. And so, locust swarms have a very big place in history. But this encompasses grasshoppers and that whole group. Blatodia, these are cockroaches. They're typically noticed for their wide, flat bodies. Their wings they do have wings, but sometimes they're reduced. You can see the big wings on this guy, depending on the species. But Blatodia, these are cockroaches. Not always associated with human habitation, but in our country, they definitely are. Mantodia, these are mantids, like the praying mantis there. Um, Pretty cool species. They're known for their raptor-like arms. Their front legs, I guess, is a better way to say it. But they kind of look like arms. The way that guy's standing there, looking like he's ready to box somebody. These are predatory. They can eat even things like small mammals and lizards. So they're very good predators. Isoptera, these are termites. Their wings are the same size, ISO, same. And so there you see that they're the winged adult. They're not all termites have wings. We talked about their complex social structures. Some termites are soldiers or workers, or the scout, or that guy there on the left that does whatever he wants. All right, Hemiptera. These are true bugs, is what they're called. And their wings kind of overlap in the back. You can see that these guys typically have this. Their mouth parts are used for sucking things. Almost always they're plant. They eat plants, but not always. They could eat. They can be kind of predators. Um, their wings, they don't always have wings. See the water boatman there on the right is an example of something you've seen in a swimming pool before. Probably the guy on the left is typically what we would call a stink bug, and so a lot of these Hemiptera do have scented glands or stink glands. It's probably a better way to say it. That ward off predators. So if you smash one, you'll get to smell that. Coleoptera. I believe Coleoptera are the biggest order of animals in the world. There are more beetles than there are anything else. There are lots of species of beetles. I do not have a number, but it's a big one. They are noted for their extra thick wings. A lot of beetles have a very thick outer wing, and then an under wing is a little thinner, and that's what they'll use to fly. But there are lots of beetles. Some of them are very ornamental, like that rhinoceros beetle. Their beetles are quite prolific. Lepidoptera. This is they're noted for their scales, big wings with scales on them, and so these are like butterflies and moths. Um, and most butterflies and moths have a long tube or proboscis that they use to get out nectar out of the flowers. But moths typically have a wider, fatter body than a butterfly does. But these are really some of the most beautiful animals on Earth. Diptera, two wing is what Diptera means. These are flies. So they have one pair of wings. Flies, mosquitoes, and other animals fit in this group typically are noted for being pests and being gross. And then lastly is Hymenoptera. Um, these animals are like ants, bees, and wasps. Some Hymenoptera have no wings at all, like ants, and some species of wasp, like the velvet ant there on the right, which is actually not an ant, it's a wasp. We have those around here, and they are rough. In many species, like the velvet ant and the wasp on the right, they're ovipositor. Ovipositor is, think about it, ova, egg, positor, posits things. This is where how they place their eggs, and some of them, the the ovipositor becomes a stinger that they use to ward off predators, or also use to incapacitate their prey. They are social animals for the most part, but some of them can live more solitary lives. Very interesting group of animals. Um, so that's Hymenoptera. We're not going to look at any of the other insect orders. And so that will be it for arthropods.